Hi Ali, my name is Imran. I'm here to talk to you about your recent problem in relation to redundancy payment which you feel you are statutory owed by Hatfield Paving Company HPC Limited. So I have considered the facts provided by you, and it seems to me in order to claim your statutory redundancy payment, you have to prove that you are an employee rather than a self-employed. So we have to look at the definition of employer first. Section 230 subsection 1 of the Employment Rights Act 1996 defines an employee as being someone who has entered into or works under the contract of employment. Again, section 230 subsection 2 of the same act defines a contract of employment as a contract of service. But obviously the statutory definition of employee doesn't provide us enough information. Therefore, the court had to introduce various tests to define the term employee through the common law system. So let me tell you the different tests which I might apply. The first test which could be very fruitful to apply in your facts is multiple or composite test, which was set down in ready-mix concrete and Ministry of Pension and National Insurance case. In this case, Judge McKenna looked at the variety factors and balanced all of them. He identified three conditions to establish the existence of contract of service, and we will start with the control of a sufficient degree. In order to satisfy this condition, we have to prove that there are an element of control exercisable by HPC Limited. The facts show that there are some control on you by HPC Limited. You have to wear a uniform. You have to let the HPC Limited know if you can't make an appointment. You just cannot send an substitute in the case of emergency. As they have to be a member of HPC's sales team. And finally, you approach to the potential customer by following the list provided by HPC Limited. By applying the case of Walker and Crystal Palace Football Club in your facts, you are highly likely to be an employee rather than a self-employed. The greater degree of control, they are more likely to be an employee, and this was demonstrated by Jews and Rist Brothers Limited case. You have to work HPC's Hatfield showroom at least one Saturday every month. This itself suggests control and also sufficient to establish you an employee, as you work a certain period of time in a certain place. The second requirement of composite test is personal service as laid down in McFarlane and Glasgow City Council case. According to the facts, you approach HPC's potential customer by the list you have been provided. This is self-sufficient to prove your personal services. Although the facts show that you can send a substitute in case of emergency, but he or she has to be a member of HPC's sales team. In practice, it might be impossible to send a substitute from the same team to perform your job. This is simply because they have to perform their job as well. This indicates that the restrictive covenant has been created to do your job by yourself, as you are unable to send someone anonymously. I therefore strongly believe that the requirement of personal service has also been fulfilled you to become an employee. Moving to the third requirement, the mutuality of obligation. This was set out in Carmichael and National Power case. There are two features of this test we need to fulfill. There must be a promise to pay of remuneration or must have the consideration. HPC Limited pays you commission on the sale of driveways. HPC is obliged to offer work and you are obliged to accept it. By referring potential customer and offering you to work at least one Saturday per month, this proved that implied contractual duty between you and HPC has been fulfilled. The second feature of this mutuality test is future mutual obligation to employ or to be employed. As scenario shows that you are working for HPC Limited since 2011, this suggests an ongoing contract rather than a series of contracts. By applying Hall and Lorimer case, it could be said that your contract is an employee contract. In addition, there is a factual matrix which must also be fulfilled. There must not be other provision of the contract which are inconsistent with the being contract of service rather than contract for services. Apart from the multiple or composite tests, there are a few more tests that we may consider. The first one is integration test. Here the court inquire whether the work of individual and integral part of business organization, which was set down in Stevenson Jordan and Harrison Limited and McDonald's and Evans case. As you have to manage Hatfield showroom at least one Saturday per month and contract with the potential customers to sell the driveway, that means that there would be no money coming into the company if you don't perform your job. It proved that you are integrated to HPC Limited. The next test is economic reality test, which was established in Market Investigation Limited and Minister of Social Security case. This involves asking a number of questions. First, whether you work your own account, which you know. Can you make profit from the sale? Of course, which of course not. Do you use your own equipment? This is not clear from the fact. If you do use your own equipment, if you don't use your own equipment, this is a factor in favor of you being an employee. You manage the Hatfield showroom at least one Saturday per month. This suggests that you had a previous agreement with HPC to manage the store in return of remuneration. And finally, do you receive commission? Which you do, but none of the single facts is conclusive by itself. In Withers and Flackwell, his football supporters case, it was held that the complicated cases should be decided by asking, are you your own boss? The facts show that HPC have sufficient control on you, as I discussed earlier. Therefore, it is enough to say that you are not your own boss. There are also a few more issues that could show you as self-employed. You pay your own tax and national insurance. Tax and national insurance is lawful deduction from employees' wages. However, the question is whether employee pays the tax and national insurance or employer deduct from the wages. By applying the Stevenson, Jordan, Harrison and McDonald's and Evans case, it could be argued that you are self-employed. On the other hand, by applying the Jennings and Westwood Engineering Limited, it is not conclusive to say that you are self-employed. The next issue is holiday and sick pay. In the case of Clark and Oxfordshire Health Authority, it was mentioned that there was no entitlement of holiday and sick pay, and therefore it was held that there is lack of mutual obligation. Your fact do not provide enough information whether you do receive holiday and sick pay. If you do receive holiday and sick pay, then you are highly likely to be an employee. By contrast, if you don't receive the holiday and sick pay, then scenario could be reversed. HPC may argue that you pay exclusive gift and attract the customers, so you work on your own account, and therefore you are self-employed. However, it is not uncommon in the current competitive world to pay some exclusive gift and to customers to earn some more money. So it is not conclusive to say that you are a self-employed. And the final issue is flexible working hour. Flexible working hour doesn't suggest that you are your own boss. Although your hours are flexible, you still have to work at least one Saturday per month. This is enough to suggest that you are not your own boss and you work for HPC Limited under the contract of services. Finally, by applying the City and East London FHS Authority and Dorcan case, where it was held that none of the single facts conclusive to suggest that someone is employee or self-employed. Therefore, even though there are few issues which suggest you are self-employed, by applying the degree of control test, it could be said that you are more likely to be an employee rather than self-employed. Thank you so much, Ali. Please let me know if you need any more help. Thanks.